I'm hoping this camera catches the trueness of the salmon color shirt.
It's red.
You think it's red? You really think this is red?
It looks red to me.
This is red?
Yeah.
You think there are Ferraris that are made in this color? Is this what you're saying?
It's not.
This is not
not
even just a
salmon.
regular. This is the most truest salmon that's wild, not farm raised. It's actually red. Do you know that?
Wild caught salmon red. Okay.
Yeah. Well, how is wild caught salmon red similar to salmon?
So when I think of salmon color, I think of pink.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's true. This LaCroix actually pairs well with the shirt.
Yes.
I am not ashamed of this wild Alaskan caught salmon shirt.
Wild Alaskan caught. I really hope, it pulls more pink in the video.
Well, now don't get me wrong, or don't. Let's not pretend like we're gonna avoid you. You have the green that's our backboard of our set, except a little bit more flatter, like a flatter color.
This was not intentional.
I think this is us trying to sell merch. This is what
I
we're trying
know.
to.
Look, does anybody want this green?
Our merch first of all, we have plenty of lines that we can add to print on our shirts for merch because we had plenty of natural submissions that we came across. Like
we need to write those down.
Cleanliness makes me hard. Some about you should be making sandwiches. No, I'm kidding. But I think that our first line of merch will be like just the backdrop color, like a shirt that's just
the backdrop,
ripe olive,
with
ripe
two,
green.
prints.
2 prints. We should actually do that. Where it's just like the exact picture.
The backdrop of our set.
Like printed on.
Our set with the little plant.
Oh, that'll be great.
That's good.
That'll be great.
Says nothing on it.
Yeah. Congrats to almost having 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel for the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, so shout out to all you guys who
Thanks, guys.
not only listen but also want to watch to see what we look like when we talk to each other.
It's important.
It's important. We're not faking it. This is us. Just
us being us.
Just us being us.
I like
it.
normal people.
Here's what I wanted to lead today's conversation with is we both agreed that this year we're not going to do Christmas presents for each other, and instead, nothing big. We're going to do more of stocking stuffers. Mm-hmm. How are you doing, by the way, on these stocking stuffers?
Good.
Is it easy or is it pretty hard?
I had to get creative.
Had to get creative?
Mm-hmm.
Like, took a shirt and turned it into a shop rag, or would you?
I folded 3 shirts really, really tightly, stuck it in the stocking.
Did you already do that?
No, I haven't.
Because here's my beef with you right now. First of all, I'm done buying all your gifts.
Okay.
Second of all, I probably spent way more money than you did.
Are they gonna fit in the stocking?
Well, how about we do pantyhose stuffers?
That works for
that
me.
also sounds like an adult channel.
Yeah.
Pantyhose stuffers.
Next podcast, listen out for it.
Yeah, you guys
Pantyhose
like it.
stuffers.
Don't tell your mom. Now
How do you know you spent more money than me?
Because I just know. I'm probably more generous than you.
You think you're more generous than me?
Yeah.
Maybe just to me. You're more generous to me
Than other people, for sure.
than other people.
100%.
But in general,
Isn't it? Is that bad?
I like it a lot.
You like it that I'm more generous?
Well,
too?
because you.
Wait, are you saying as a lover or as
both? You're just a
generous lover?
Yeah.
I aim to please and satisfy.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm aiming for all 5 stars on a bedroom review.
You're getting there.
Yeah. That's my New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
So yeah, is that weird to you that I'm more generous towards you and then?
No,
because I'm not cheap around other people, so it's like
no, I don't mean that.
I've yet to ever have to like request anybody pitch in for gas.
No, not in that sense. I mean, like, typically, I feel like I'm more like, take my money, I don't care.
You
to people, and
your money and your time too. You've put out so many birthdays for your girlfriends.
where it's like, sure, nobody wants to host, I'll host.
Yeah. And then you'll
and then with
spend
our kids too.
you'll spend hundreds of dollars on decor and organizing this whole thing, and then the gift.
Yeah,
And I was like,
and then the gift as well.
Oh, cool.
And also our kids. Like almost every time we go to Target, I get suckered into buying something stupid.
But that's, I think, because you are a people pleaser.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they know. So with me, they still play that card. So Beckham, if I run down to,
I will say I'm much better at it now.
You think so?
Beckham cries almost every time we're at Target because he thinks he can get one small thing for $20, and I'm like, no.
He's getting pretty close to. Well, you're getting pretty close to getting it figured out or vice versa, actually, because. So we both know that if he asks to go to the store with us, it's not because he wants to be with us. It's because
he wants to get something.
He wants to get something. And it doesn't matter if I'm going to Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere. He still wants to come, and he always tries to pitch me on, can I get a sucker? Can I get a Gatorade? Can I get a whatever?
You're kind of a sucker too, though.
Well, I am. Okay, so
you're in a good mood.
Right. Well, let me touch back on it. It's not often that I say no, because it's what's $1 sucker.
Exactly. That's the difference.
It's a different story.
Me, it's like, can I buy this really
drone.
tiny Lego set and drone? It's only $55.
But the crying, I don't think because he knows, like, if he cry, he's not allowed to cry with me because he knows he's not going to get to come again.
Yeah.
So,
literally, this is how it works at Target. We walk in, we go to the dollar spot section because it's the first section. He finds something and holds on to it.
The whole time?
No. He holds on to it, and then we get to the whatever section we get to next, toy section. He drops that, finds something new, holds that.
Upgrade.
It's like, and he keeps upgrading until he has a drone in his hands that he can't hold. I'm like, where did we get from like $1 Play-Doh to a drone? But this is exactly how it works. From like our little circle around Target, and then
you start at the very front, because the very front has like the dollar stuff.
Dollar stuff, exactly.
Then you move up to
it's so bad. And then it's like he's already like worked up because he's like, oh, I just kept trading up, and now
he thought
it's only $1, Mom.
In his eyes, he's doing the papaperclip challenge, where he's taking the paperclip and see what he can turn it into.
Exactly, and I'm like, that's impressive that you did that, but no, I'm not buying you that drone.
I think it's not impressive that he was able to take a small thing and then
just
put it down and go get a bigger thing. That's not the impressive part. That just means he's undecisive. What I think the impressive part is the fact that he knows how to work you.
He thinks he can get away with it.
Mom, can I just have
Mom,
gum?
It's small.
It's just gum. Is that okay? Well, fine, we can do gum.
That's exactly what happens at the end. We get to the cash register. He has something in his hands, and I say, I'm not buying that for you. I already told you. And then he starts crying. I go, but listen, you can have a pack of gum. And then he's like, okay.
That's
better than nothing.
I guess $200 in drones. We'll have to wait.
Like, I'll get the bubble gum. Okay.
He's also keeps the record of the most amount of drones that are lost. The amount of drones that,
and he
like,
still asks for them.
Ones.
He knows. We will say no every time because he's lost 2 and broken at least 2 or 3. And every time I say no, and he
like, still has a reason,
I only lost 1.
Yeah, and he also knows what went wrong, right?
Yes.
He goes, no, what happened was last time, Jack! And he starts his voice really high. Jack, it was...
Well, and it wasn't me. I told you I didn't mean it.
So the generosity on my part, when you and I were broke, not that we're loaded, but when we were broke, I was not generous at all. Like, even with the kids. With the kids, it's like... It was their birthdays, and we're like, let's get them something for. I think $50 was like the most max we would spend. It has to be like a big thing,
right?
I think the more mental health that I have when it comes to work flow, where I'm not stressed out, and I'm staying busy with the brands. That's when I become more generous.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, well, I see the projections. I see where I have this like ease of like no stress. There's nothing worse than going, I work so freaking hard and I'm so stressed out, and here I'm spending, or you're spending, this crazy money right now, or expensive things. Like, it almost
not even that. It's like it's spending the money, but also if you're stressed out and working so hard, you don't have time to even hang out with your kids or family
that goes back onto this double-edged sword where it's like you're so busy, you're making the money, let's just put it that way, but then you're stressed out because you're like, I'm constantly telling them no because I'm busy, because I have to stay on productive on this calendar, But then now I have the most, like I've mentioned before, I'm the happiest I've ever been, because we were going to bed last night and I told you, I was like, this is the first time that I feel like my life doesn't consist of me having to be chasing something behind a schedule or having to be somewhere. Or, you know, I don't have to be like, even what we did with like recording times, you know, it started with I now don't have to work past 3 p.m. because now Kyle, the camera guy, is done. He leaves. I'm done. I don't even clean up till the next day in the morning before he comes. I have computer work done because I do it in the morning before he comes. And, I now can have a hard stop. Now we changed our recording times of this podcast to not in the evenings, but now we do it
during the workday.
During the workday when he leaves, we record a podcast. Then I get to go pick up the kids. Then
You get to. Thank you for saying that.
Oh, I mean, this is the stuff. Yes, I'm showing up, but at the same time, I think this is the stuff that to me it's very important.
It's important for them too.
Correct, and to me, it's more of like that. I always come back to these conversations of like that deathbed conversation I'm going to have with myself. It's like I'm going to go back into this Rolodex of memories in my back of my mind, and recall these things. Like I was hanging out with Matt, our friend. Matt and
hope you're listening to this, Matt.
Jeremy, yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't even know what I do. He thinks I'm an accountant. We're just
what does the Alex do it again?
And we're just hanging out.
YouTube,
the tubes, and we're hanging out and we were talking about what kind of upbringings we had with our fathers and the memories, and how I tell him how the importance of my time with my kids. And he has nothing but good memories with his dad. He goes, and he's a 36-year-old guy, or 34, I think. I think he's 34. He's like, I remember my dad would hold my hand walking across the baseball field every single time, or walk with me. Maybe I got a little bit older and I didn't have to be, but every time all of my memories was my dad was walking with me.
Yeah.
There. And
you don't have those.
I don't have those. And my dad was in my life, but it is in my life, but I didn't have that kind of upbringing where we had a good relationship. It was a difficult relationship. It was memories of a lot of bitterness and anger, but that proves to me the importance that if my friend Matt can have this, that I want
that many years later.
He goes and has cigars and whiskey with his dad on a regular basis. His dad was his best man in his wedding. You know what I mean? Cool. And it's like I want to be so much in front of their face that I want to have these kind of things.
When they're in their 30s.
Yeah.
Hanging out with them and
And so it comes down to, it's like I finally feel like I'm in this place in my life where I, like, prime example, like I don't feel like I need to be recording a podcast after dinner with somebody, or be a guest on somebody's podcast. I don't have to go editing a video. I don't have to be go finishing up a project in the garage. Like I literally have nothing to do now, and it's awesome.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
I've never, but here's the thing. We've been married for almost 9 years, right? Yeah. And ever since we got married, it was me.
There's always something.
Well, right. It was like me working at a restaurant, bartending and waiting while being in college. Because I think when we got married, I think I still had like 3 more months before I graduated college.
Yeah.
And so it was 2 jobs there. Then we moved here, and I had 2, a side hustle thing, and we had a group that we were doing. And then after that, Mr. Builder kicked off. So then that's where I started having the day grind job and the side hustle. And then that turned into, you know what I mean? Like it was constant.
There's always something.
So this is the first time in 9 years of us being together that I'm actually at a point where I'm like, hey,
it's 3 o'clock. I don't know what to do.
My schedule's open today.
Evenings free.
It's incredible. And it took me so long to get here, but I'm like so thankful that I'm finally at a point where I can enjoy. So it's
a healthy place to be in, because there's only so long that you can hustle that hard for, right? Until you get burnt out and you can't do it anymore. Yep. But I feel like you were getting to that point actually for a little bit there, where you were like, this is so stressful, and this is like, sometimes I have to do things in the evening, or wake up like at 4 or whatever, you weren't sleeping well. So I think you kind of were at this like crossroads anyway, and then you just were like, hey, let's scale this up. What's the next thing I can do?
Right. Well, and we've talked about this before, it's because the stress was getting to me.
Exactly. And so you saw it as a way, how can I work myself out of this stress, or how can I relieve myself of this stress, right?
Yeah.
And you did a awesome thing, and you're like, hey, I'm just going to have somebody work with me full time so I can have these hours set. We're going to go pick up my kids.
You know, Kyle asked me because I was telling him how thankful I am that we have a hard stop now, like in a work day. And I said before, sometimes I have to work till like 7 p.m. trying to get this project done. And and I'm telling him how productive I feel now. And he goes, well, weren't you? He asked me this, I think like yesterday. He's like, weren't you? If you're working till 7, aren't you getting a bunch of stuff done? I was like, yeah, but when you're getting so tired, you end up making more mistakes than being productive.
But also,
but then let me finish this point here.
No.
Shh.
I was going to say something.
Could you shut up for? Could you shut up for a second?
Listen, you talk too much.
I'm kidding.
No, keep going.
But it was what I was kind of finishing up with is like, yes, you're making these mistakes, and so now it's taking longer. But also, you're so fatigued, and yes, you got a lot of stuff done. But when you come in the house, you want nothing to do with your kids. You want nothing to do, but like pour yourself in bed, unwind, go to bed, and that's it. Like you're just so tired, and you're tired from constantly being tired. You're tired from constantly chasing the schedule, and so now because their heart's up, I feel so freeing now and relaxed and and still productive that I have an easier way of saying yes and being present with the kids. What were you going to say about that?
I feel like I would argue against the fact that you would get more stuff done because I feel like it took you longer to record these things because you had to do all the camera stuff yourself, right? So you had to position all this stuff. So I almost feel like it took you just as long as it's taking right now to do projects, if not more, because now you have Kyle who's editing.
Are you saying it took me just as long as right now?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Isn't the proper way of saying it right now? It used to take me longer than right now.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Did I not say it right?
Well, maybe I heard it wrong because the way it sounded in my head was like.
So right now it used to take you longer than it is right now. Correct. I feel like.
Correct.
Which is crazy because you were staying up a lot longer, finishing projects up because you had a deadline.
Yes. Well, before
it felt like you're always behind, right?
Correct. And before I had 3 jobs, right?
Yes.
The 3 jobs in terms of video creating was the building, the camera work, and the editing. And now the camera work and the editing are off my plate. Yeah. So I only have one job now. Yeah. And having one job, I can get further in the steps of that project. Exactly.
So I almost, to me, it seems like you're getting more stuff done in a quicker amount of time.
Absolutely. Which
is so crazy.
So right now I'm doing a big project. It's the mudroom lockers, and they're big. They got a bunch of doors, a bunch of drawers. It's huge. And that's something that would have taken me at least 2 weeks to build, and then some days to edit after that. And right now we're on schedule to be kind of locking it into like a 6-day, I think, build, like start to finish.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Like 6, I think, is like the longest. It might even be 5 days. And there's parts of me that are going, well, if we're having a quicker turnaround, what if instead of 2 projects a month, what if we did 3, more paychecks, blah, blah, blah. But then there's another part of me is like, why am I going to ruin this good thing where like I'm happy when the money's coming? The most important, like, I'm just happy with the quality of life that I'm living.
Right.
And so I was like, I don't want to ruin that.
It's a huge part of it.
I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go up in production and do cooler stuff,
Yeah. That's a big part of it.
Yeah. So that's now making me more generous. That's why in the generosity.
Because you're happier.
I am happy. And I think when I'm happier and don't get me wrong, like it's also hard to be it's also hard to be happy when money is an issue, right? Like not to say money buys you happiness, but money gives you freedom, or buys you freedom and buys you opportunities. And so I'm sure it's just a good combination to be in right now. But here's what I was going to
thank you for being generous with my stocking stuffers.
Oh, you're welcome. Are you done with my stocking stuffers?
No.
Or is there, you're still, how many are you at right now?
Well, I love that we called them stocking stuffers, but I feel like
because they're not like Pez dispensers.
I feel like there's only one thing I can actually fit in your stocking.
Well, yeah, I don't think we need to call them. I call them stocking stuffers. I don't think the ideas of us putting it into the stockings.
No. Well, I could try.
Because I think once you're past the age of 11, you can't really fit the things the person wants as stocking stuffers.
Yeah. But
you're not even 11
I probably have a couple more things. How many are we doing?
Well, how many are you at right now? And I'll tell you how many I am at.
Oh gosh, you go first because it seems like you really know that you've outdone.
I don't know exactly how many I bought, but let me count right now. I have 1.
And these are individual items.
2, 3, 4. I think I'm at 5.
Okay, let me think.
I'm
at 4.
You're at 4. Do you want me to stop at 5, or do you want me to just blow the roof off of this
You
thing?
should. I mean, you should go to 10 if you want to.
We'll call it cart stuffers. Trunk stuffers.
Trunk stuffers. Yeah.
That's another adult website, probably.
Yeah. That's definitely an adult website.
Trunk stuffers. There's pantyhose stuffers and trunk stuffers.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm sorry if this upsets you people. Yeah, no, I could be at 5. Well, 5 is fine.
Cap it at 5?
Yeah, 5 is fine.
Yeah. And this is so, well, I guess it's
I'll
not really.
I'll probably do 6.
We're not really actually putting stuff
more
in.
Embarrassed.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope you outdo me.
Yeah. Then you'll have to outdo me.
Yeah.
Got him.
I was going to say, oh, well, this is interesting to me because even though we're not really doing stocking stuffers, we're not actually putting stuff in stockings. The idea of stockings was so new to me when in the last, like, we've only been doing it in the last.
Language, you freaking foreigner.
Well, we never did it as kids. Did you?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
We got one gift.
Yeah. And that's what I was telling my friends recently. So this concept of like multiple gifts was so foreign to me, especially when like in the most recent years, because now that our boys are older, they understand like gifts and I want to get as many as I can,
of course,
kind of deal. But for us, it was the same thing. Growing up, it was everybody got one gift. And when we were really poor, it was like a $12 doll, you know, and then something super small, a Barbie or something. And then when my parents like made it, I guess, got the American dream and worked their butts off to create a business and did better. Like we got obviously better presents, but it was always just one present growing up. Yeah. One.
Even
Everybody
with the
got
money
one.
in the family.
Yep. And I actually really appreciate that because I felt like we were always expecting that one. We never had a stocking stuffer. We never had stockings. That was like such a foreign concept to me. I remember hearing about it at school, and I'm like, "You get presents and socks? Yeah, that is so weird.
Why you put socks on the mantle?"
I know. Can you imagine coming as like our parents to America and being like, "Why are they hanging socks?" Especially because some of them actually look like knit socks.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like ours?
Like ours, yeah. But they're so cute. I'm
gonna hang my wool socks on.
You should. We just hang our regular socks.
My parents are hanging
cute.
pantyhoses.
Yeah.
It's stocking stuffers.
Can fit a lot more stuff in them.
This is stockings. They're fishnets.
Yeah. But I feel like I felt
felt
like it was so
happy
and
so memories.
No, I actually appreciate that that my parents kept it consistent because I always knew like I was expecting that one, and it kept me kind of, I guess, humble as a kid when all my friends were like getting millions of gifts.
Yeah.
And they would show me how many things I got. I'd always be like, how? Santa brought you that many things?
I remember as maybe like a 11-year-old boy or something like that, or maybe I was 12 or something like that. I remember that like distinct time where I'm realizing there's people who get themselves into debt.
Oh yeah, I never even
I
thought
had to
about
been older
that.
than 11. I don't know why I said that. I'm pretty sure I was like maybe 18 or something like that. But I remember there's people who would get themselves. Well, I remember that it's not uncommon for people to get themselves into credit card debt.
Oh, around the holidays.
Around the holidays, to go, like the idea of buying somebody not for their birthday, but somebody like for your cousins or something like that, or your whatever, an Xbox or buying, you know what I mean, like that is,
people go crazy.
Yeah, but the idea of buying your kids, let's say you have 3 kids, and the idea of buying one gift that's like $200 and another gift that's $500, and to the other one kid is,
so you're spending like
thousands
of dollars on just your family, your kids, and then probably another thousands on extended family too.
It blew my mind. Like I think the cap was always like maybe $100 at most, and it's usually towards like your family kind of thing.
Yeah. What was like one of your favorite Christmas presents? Does anything stand out to you?
As married, as a kid?
No, as a kid.
I didn't have memories of Christmas that stood out in terms of gifts. It was all my gifts. All?
Not even one?
Well, not a single one, because all the gifts.
Were they like socks?
All the gifts that I had
Close.
Up to the point that we got married was always close. It was
Your mom still does that.
She still
with
does
the boys.
it.
They're like, oh, sure.
Yeah, it still does it. It's just nothing. But there's never a time that I opened up and I was like, whoa, this. It was more of like, oh, cool, that's useful. You know what I mean? That's what it always was. You know, and then it wasn't until you and I got married till then. That's where it's like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like I've wanted this. Or
because you would tell me something,
right?
and
We would
I
tell
would
each other
remember,
a few things,
and then I would get it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, which is such a new concept for you, I guess.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, keep in mind, I didn't have like, what is one of your friends asked is like, you know, something about my childhood birthdays, and I was like, well, we never celebrated my birthday or even acknowledged it until I was like 10. Like, you know, so it's like, or no, like probably like 8. No, it was, I think my 8th birthday, I remember. 7th or 8th. 7th, I think there's a picture album my mom has where we're in America at our first apartment, and I'm dressed up like a bow tie and everything, and I have a balloon that I'm
So
holding.
basically, you didn't celebrate it until you moved to the States?
The States, yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, so then you put Christmas onto it, you know, so it's like.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Are you going to just show off and be like, oh, I got an iPad?
No, because we started out like, for the people that don't know, we were both born in, I was born in Ukraine and Alex was born in Russia. I moved to the States when we were 3. I was 3. We were 3.
We both were 3 then. We moved.
No, we moved to the States when I was 3. My family did. I think my parents had like less than $100 in their pocket when they moved. It was
yuck, gross.
Yeah, like just
losers.
They spent all their money to get here, and that was it. So they came here. We were very, very poor. We lived in this like really tiny apartment for a long time. Like I remember starting kindergarten, and like our back to school shopping was always shopping at garage sales. That was like my first bike I bought for 25 cents.
Yeah, I remember that story. Yeah, you shared the story here. Yeah, it was hilarious.
I shared the story here. No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
When?
You shared the story how the bike would fall
Not
apart.
here. Not on the podcast.
Maybe.
Well, if I did, we'll have to
share the story again. Just share it,
Okay.
because I think at some point right now that
I was 5 years old, and my mom gave me like 25 or 50 cents to go to the garage sale, like it was probably a couple blocks away. It was still in our neighborhood.
And you're 5 years old?
I was 5. My sister was 6. Yeah.
Hey, you guys, go 5 blocks down.
Yeah. It wasn't that close because I remember riding the bike home. But
we barely let our boys go a block at a neighbor's house.
This was a different time.
And these are street blocks. These are neighborhood blocks, not street blocks.
Yeah, I never had a bike. I don't even know how I knew how to ride a bike. Somehow I did.
Yeah.
We were very, very poor. So my mom was like, okay, here's 50 cents. And I think back then that could buy you a lot of stuff at a garage sale.
Apparently.
Not anymore, but.
Your mom's like, here, buy a house.
Yeah. So my sister and I went, and I found this. Maybe my mom came with us. I can't remember, honestly. I just remember my sister and I were there, and there was this bike for sale for 25 cents. And I was like, I'm buying this. And I almost feel like my mom was there because I think she said like yes. Because I can't imagine me just like buying a bike and then being like, where am I gonna put this? Anyway, and I think my mom walked home, and then my sister and I were still there like browsing, and then so it was time to go home, and she was walking and I was on the bike, and I'm riding the bike, and it's like out of a movie. I'm riding it, and all of a sudden it just starts falling apart. Like the steering wheel, the handlebars come off. Like the chain just like drops. The wheels.
You're skidding on the seat.
It was so comedic. I bet my sister actually was rolling on the ground laughing because it was so funny. And I am crying, picking up all the parts and walking home with them because I already bought the bike.
That's so sad.
And I'm walking home with all these parts in my hands.
Oh my god.
And my sister's walking behind me just dying laughing. And I came home and just like cried to my parents. And I think after that they felt so bad for me. I think they bought me a bike.
Did they?
Probably another garage sale bike, but
this time they just like made sure everything's tightened down.
They rode it around a couple times to make sure it didn't fall apart.
Get a second opinion.
And I still remember it was silver.
Yeah.
I still remember what it looked like. It was such a vivid memory in my mind.
Did it have training wheels? It had to have training wheels. And if you didn't know how to ride a bike.
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did. Because I think I was like barely 5. Maybe even 4.
Can I tell you my bike story?
You have one too?
I have a bike story.
Okay.
It's not as
sad.
Well, I think it's a little bit sad, but I don't think it's as sad as yours. So we were in Russia, and I never owned. So I must have been. So I moved to the States when I was 7. So, and majority of my memories are between like the age of like 5 and 7. Of as a child, and I think I was maybe 5 or 6 then, and we never had a bike that was remotely close to the size for a child.
Yeah.
All the bikes were
adult.
Well, not fully adult, but at least it would from adult to at least the age of like maybe 12. Those were the size of the bikes that I think we had maybe 1 or 2. My parents. So, and I specifically remember it was a day that I wanted to ride a bike with the rest of the kids, and so I got this thing out of the backyard, and we had this big rock in front of our house and to the side. It's probably like 3 feet tall or 2.5 maybe feet tall. So I would stand on this thing.
Oh, to get on the bike.
So to me, the way I remember it in the scene was as if it was an adult bike, the size, because
it probably was close.
It was probably close, but in all reality, it was probably like a teenage kid's bike, you know, like a 13-year-old bike, right? For a 5-year-old. So it has to have been probably around that time. And so I would stand on this big rock, and I would get my foot over, try to basically use it as a bridge or a boost, and then I would try to pedal. So I'd stand aside, put my left leg over, and try to push
pedaling,
on it and get momentum. And as soon as I pressed it, I flipped down and busted my knee wide open.
Oh man! And like the first time.
The first time, and then I kept going back on it, and I remember after a few tries, I finally got like a few feet and going and stuff like that. And then obviously to get off, I had to like fall off of it. Yeah, I had to fall off of it. Oh my gosh,
you poor thing.
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah. Your childhood, we just didn't have like anything.
We had a basketball hoop
in Russia.
In Russia, so we had this basketball. Well, let me expand. When I say basketball hoop, we had these big mature trees, and in front of the house, and the roads were dirt. But I think once you get out of the neighborhood a little bit, after you get out of the neighborhood a little bit, it goes to I think some paved, like really poorly paved, but the most part is dirt road. And in the front of the house, we had this big pond that when it froze over, we would skate with we would call it ice skating, but we didn't have ice skates, so we just run around with our shoes, right? Play hockey. And we had this metal bucket with a hole cut out of the bottom, and that was screwed to a tree. And we would use like soccer balls and stuff like that too. Like that's how we played basketball. Yeah.
Wow.
That's where my skill set came from.
Yeah, you're really good at basketball now because of that experience. Yeah.
I swear this footage that like I'm describing, it's 100% real. And I'm not over exaggerating any of this part, and it legitimately sounds like as I'm speaking as if it's like right now we see footage from like Uganda or something like that, and like the Village Kids. You know what I mean? This is the way like it legitimately. That's how we in your
brain
up.
It's like that. That's too. Yeah.
I remember that if we were hungry, like let's say we're outside because we spent all day outside playing, right? And so if we ran in the house because we were hungry, we'd get a thick slice of rye bread and an egg, a raw egg, and then we just bust a hole on top of the egg with I don't remember what, maybe because I can't imagine doing it with a pen. Maybe we cracked it like with a tip, and then took it up. But basically, we tried creating a little hole on top, and it's like a mobile way of being outside. So you bite your bread, and then you're almost like drinking the egg yolk.
Gross.
So it's like it was our juice box basically.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so gross.
Yeah. No. I mean, I eat a lot of eggs right now. You know that. But that's what we did. Yeah. And then another memory I remember specifically was we would have we didn't have water guns, and so what we would do is we would take, and I don't know where they came from. We used syringes, like old syringes. They didn't have needles. They didn't have needles. They did not have.
Who was leaving syringes around?
Well, that's the thing.
My question.
That's the thing is I don't know because this is like a very rural. This is like a really rural neighborhood, and there were syringes, but they're not small. They weren't small like insulin ones or anything like heroin ones. They're like pretty big, like 20 to 50 cc syringes. Didn't have any needles. I never remember finding something with a needle. But we would suck it up and then we like squirt each other with it.
Those are your water guns.
Those were our water guns. So
it's so sad. Who's leaving those around?
Who wasn't leaving?
I know that's true. Back then in Russia.
Right. You really never know. But that's my upbringing.
Yeah.
And it's your upbringing too. But going back to these gifts, what I think going back on this whole generosity thing, you know, I think the fact that coming from that kind of upbringing and then working really hard to start some kind of business and making the sacrifices and being stressed out and being constantly chasing this thing to build it, to you're getting to the point where like you're busy and so you're almost like doing some like retail therapy where you're like, okay, well, I'm working so much and I can't enjoy my free time. Well, at least I'll buy things for myself. And then you get to a point where you've bought everything you really want. I mean, you can be obnoxious and like be like, oh, I got my truck.
There's always something.
Yeah, like I got my truck that I really love, but I could get this other truck, you know. But so it's like that. At that point, it gets a little obnoxious.
Right.
But you get to a point where you go like, what do you want for Christmas? It's like, I don't know, because if I want it, I'd probably just go buy it, you know? Like, I mean, as I don't want to sound pretentious and ungrateful. Clearly, I'm grateful because where I came from, but it's one of those things like I'm like, well, I love guns, and I was cool. Like, maybe she can buy me a gun, but I was like, well, what is she gonna go get a background check, buy a gun, and like,
yeah.
I was like, what is she gonna do? Like, it's like I'd rather just buy the gun that I want to go buy, you know?
Right.
And then I was like, well, what could I really like? What could be useful? Well, I would like some new ski boots though. My ski boots are fine, but I'd like to get a little more comfortable ones. But then I kind of circle back and I go, what am I like this? I shouldn't be scratching my head hard trying to find what I want. Then I realized what's really actually fun for me is like when you buy me things that you know I'd really appreciate. They're not expensive. Like you haven't done it recently, but I remember like last summer.
What are you trying to say?
Well, step it up a bit, huh?
I haven't done it recently. Listen.
But you
used to do this awesome thing.
You would, with your tongue. No, I'm kidding. You would come home with like, you know, a couple of shirts you bought, you know, or whatever. Like you'd buy me clothes, and it was kind of like a little like, oh, that's cool. Like, thank you. Like that's
thought of me.
That's nice. That's, you know, like because it's not like I have time to go buy me clothes. So like those kind of like just nice gestures. And so I thought.
Well, I really like the idea that you pitch like, yeah, let's just do like stocking stuffers, because then it does kind of, instead of saying like I want, because usually we say I want this one thing,
yep,
and the other person just buys it.
Yep.
So it's like, I know exactly what I'm getting. Yep. You know exactly what you're getting. But I thought that was kind of fun to do something different where it's like, let's just do stocking stuffers. So then we have to just kind of get creative. Yeah, I think, and just do like small, like, oh, I just thought you would
like this.
Yeah, I just thought you
find
a new
this
pair
useful.
of socks.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's exactly like socks. But
a tie.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
What was
last
it?
time I wore a tie.
Typical. I would always get my dad a wallet.
Yep. A
wallet.
Wallet, socks, tie.
Yeah.
But yeah, just little things that are like really useful. You know, that you know that
or
this
just
is a
fun.
person. Fun, useful. Yeah.
I like that idea. I think it will be fun to actually open presents where we don't know what it is, and just the boys will love it too.
Yeah.
Unless it's inappropriate.
One of them is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you get it? Right. Did you find the charger?
By the way, so here's my question with you. So you know I had all of your stocking stuffers or trunk stuffers.
Did you get everything from Amazon?
Yes. Why?
Well, I was just asking because I haven't.
But we also agreed to not.
I haven't checked.
Okay, we both agreed to not look at our previous orders.
Yeah. Which is hard because I get emails all the time. Thanks for your purchase. Thanks for your purchase.
Oh, really?
Because it's not under my account.
You should one of these days just click out from exempt from these emails, like unnotify me, or you know what you can even do. Yeah, you can just do that. Here's what's more difficult. I keep all your gifts in my gun safe.
Oh yeah, mine's just in the closet.
No.
Did you
They're
go
not.
look?
No, I have not looked them, but they're not just in the closet. They're literally on where my side of the clothes are.
No, they're behind the door.
Yes. Where do you think my shirts and pants are?
Behind the door?
Okay, listen.
Oh, right there.
Right there. And then to the right
yeah,
is
so
the door. Looked. And so they're leaning against the shelf. I did not.
Need to wrap them.
I promise I didn't look. Yeah. I promise I did not look.
But you kind of know one of them.
I kind of know one of them, and that was because before you and I had the conversation of saying.
So you peeked.
No. I was going to reorder the new bags for shipping the sweaters.
So you know.
No, I know only one thing because this is before we had the conversation. I hit to see where the bags that were called that I had before. And there was just one thing on the top of the list that I was like, oh, that's probably for me. And at that point, I didn't even look further.
You feel so guilty because you should.
If you think that's a stocking stuffer quality gift, you need to reconsider yourself.
Do you have one of those? Didn't think so.
I'm kidding. But no, so I didn't look. And then I think that same day or the next day I told you like, hey, let's agree not to look, and that's where the idea came from. But
I do need to I might have seen one thing that you got me too. I didn't tell you. Well, this is the problem. Because of my Amazon app, it will say like your order is 5 stops away, and it will show me a picture of it.
Oh.
But it's only one thing.
What was the color? Jeez.
I know.
Well, do you like the color? Okay.
I do need it. I don't know how to do that though. Do you just like hit don't notify me?
Well, you have to go on settings and click your email off.
I know that's the sucky part about sharing like accounts is you just it's hard to. I thought maybe you saw one of them because they're literally just
no. It's a lot of self-control on this one.
Good job. Me too. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really trying.
Yeah.
And I like how you put all of my gifts in your giant safe.
Gun safe, yeah.
Gun safe.
Yeah.
That's in the garage.
Yeah.
He like gets a package and he walks it to the garage.
Make it look like I bought a new gun or something.
Just like puts it in. I'm like,
it's got. If you don't have a gun safe or maybe you're anti-gun, maybe consider getting yourself a gun safe because it's really.
You put anything you want in there.
Yeah,
even a person.
Yep.
Apparently.
Well, I don't think you should. I don't know how well you can breathe in there.
Yeah. I mean, like a dead body, basically.
Oh yeah, but then where do I put my guns?
Yeah, that's true. You gotta have space.
Yeah. No, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well,
now I mean, it sounds like I need to buy like one other thing that's like not on Amazon. So you.
I know you do, and I do too.
So you only know one thing.
Only one.
You swear.
Swear.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to buy one other. There's just one other thing that I'm thinking about buying that I know you'd like, but I was like, how useful would this thing be for her? So.
Well, you should get it anyway because
just
I
like opening things.
Yeah. I love gifts.
Should I do one of those gifts where like you buy a star
yes.
and get a certificate?
Can you give me a plot of land on Mars?
A plot of land on Mars. There's this thing that I don't know if it's recently they started, but kind of like buying land on Mars, but you buy a small plot or scoop of I think it's like a 1x1 square foot in like Scotland or something like that land. And because it's land that you could get a certificate that says you're either lord or lordess over that land.
Oh, so you're a lord.
So you become a lord over.
Oh, that's funny. Yes, please do that for me.
You'll call me lord.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want you to call me lord.
Lord Mazukin.
My lady.
My
lord.
My lord.
My lady.
I always think, who are the people who really like these gifts of like that star that they bought with a certificate? And
no idea.
Like it has to be it has to be that's the most equivalency of going, I bought you a gift, but you can't
can never
have it.
Yeah, you can never open it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's like I got you a certificate saying like you own a Tesla. But
see that star up
you
there?
don't. Yeah. Wait,
that's
not
your
that one.
star. No, that one. The one right there. Yeah, to your left.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do with it? Yeah. Oh, cool. I'll show my friends. Come here, Linda. You see that star? That's mine.
You have a 57-year-old friend named Linda.
Yes. Or Karen.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't think of anything trendy. Ashley.
Ashley, there you go. Well, every Ashley's a slut, so you better not have any Ashleys. And also, if you're Ashley listening to this,
you're cool.
Just change your ways, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
You can still listen.
Yeah. I bet you were gonna come. I was like, my friend's name is Ashley.
How dare you?
She's a whore. Also, that sounds like somebody's grandmother talking.
I know.
Yeah.
Somebody's grandmother's listening.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about we've kind of experienced buying kids gifts when we didn't have money, and then buying kids gifts where money wasn't that much of an issue. So have you had any kind of thoughts about like,
I go back and forth because like we went from like in the beginning of our marriage, it was like $20 gift, $30 gift, you know, but it was always one gift. And then last year, I feel like it was
but then grandparents would get them some stuff.
Yeah. I think this is the first year where I did a little bit more than one gift.
Yeah. You made them make a list, and then you kept saying,
well, we always do a list, and then we say one thing, you get one thing. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, well, what is Santa going to get me? And I'm like,
oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
But now this year I did like, it's also hard too because, so we decided to get Jack a Gizmo watch, which he mostly
Whoa,
needs.
he's listening to this. Oh, yeah. He's a subscriber.
He's a subscriber. We kind of are getting it for him, but mostly for us, so that we could talk to him. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's at a friend's house, you know, they really want to ride the bus when they ride the bus. So just to have that communication with him at all times.
Because putting a chip in your kid's ear is no longer acceptable culturally.
So I kind of felt like it was a really good present for him, but it's also more like for us. And so I almost felt like if he would open that, he'd just be like, oh,
cool. That's a leash.
Yeah, leash. So you guys keep me on. So I was like, well, I feel like I need to get him something else.
Yeah. By the way, did you add him to the plan already? Okay, so he's all set up.
Yeah, it's all set up. We just have to once we open.
And we just gotta get apps on our phones. Is that how we talk to him?
I have no idea.
Oh, cool. So we're paying monthly money to not know.
I think it is. Well, we can't open it yet. It's a Christmas present.
Right. But we should like look up for like the apps that we need to get. So like now, so do you feel like you are Are you more excited about doing Christmas gifts for them now than you were before?
I am because I feel like, and it's not, I would not say it's the money thing, it's the age. Because now they understand and they tell us what they want. And I feel like it's way more fun because they open it. And even though they've already told us everything they want, I feel like they're just going to light up because they're going to be like, oh, this is what I wanted. Oh my gosh. Versus when they're like 2 or 3, they don't know what they want. They're happy with anything, but also they play with it for 2 minutes and they're done with it, you know? And
I have to say that one of the things that I loathed the most when they were smaller, not that they're not little right now, was the amount that they would complain. They didn't know how to control their emotions. Oh. And so they would open and it's like
we'd get him. We usually get them like there was a couple years that we'd get them like a bike or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it would be like they would just be so overwhelmed by like the idea of everything, presents, Christmas. They couldn't contain it.
Or whining because somebody's playing with their Christmas toy or something like that.
Or they got something I didn't get. Yeah.
It takes away from the joy of like what the experience is for us. Like to me, I was like, okay, you guys are never getting anything ever again.
I really hope it's not the case this year. I really hope they appreciate.
Well, last year was like that. I would say last
year was really good.
Last year was probably the best one, and I think what helped is the disclaimer that we gave them was like, listen, before we open these, you will not cry, you will not complain, you will like everything you have.
We'll have to just set some rules like that again.
Yeah.
And then like
go like full North Korean on them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like that's. So we got them both. You don't even know what we got them.
I hope they like what we got them.
I got them like something that they really, really asked for, wanted, and then like something they need. And then I got them like each a book. Mm-hmm. And then like I got Beckham a book of paper airplanes, how to make paper airplanes. I thought that was really fun. And it's like $10, you know. And then
that means he only has another 10 left in what he can have as a gift.
Yeah. And then I got them this little like a toasty. It's a little stuffed animal that it's like a rice bag inside, and you put that in the microwave and it gets warm, and it's
Oh, wow.
So just something
it's
kind
like
of fun.
Cuddling with somebody with a fever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what everybody's dream is. But yeah, and that's it. So that's it.
And then I got him something to buy and something to spend, something to share, something to kick, something to hug, something to change, something
that makes noise, something that doesn't make noise, something that makes noise on and off.
Something blue, something green, something white. What kind of childhood did you grow up in? Something expensive, something cheap.
My fear is always, though, I just want them to like not get spoiled, but like appreciate everything you have. Because I remember still vividly when we first got married, I was working as a nanny, remember, in Seattle?
Yep.
And there's 2 families I worked for. One, I really hope they don't listen to this podcast.
Yeah. You know who you are, you assholes.
No, one family was just like, they were both really, really wealthy, both of them. They both lived in the same area. But like, I got both of the families Christmas presents, right? Because like it was Christmas, but also I had already put in my 2 weeks notice because we were moving to Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
The first family I got the present for, the second they open it, they're like, oh, and they like keep digging in the bag, like, is this it? Is this everything? What else is in here? Oh, this is it. Like, zero thank you, like gratefulness. It was just like, oh, this is it. Like, what else? Throw the bag, like, leave.
Wow.
And then the second family, mind you, same exact like financial situation going on. Open the bag. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. It's like same exact gift. It wasn't anything special, but just the way they were so appreciative. Like, this is the best gift we've ever gotten. And I was like, this is the difference between
assholes.
Yeah. Just the way people raise their kids. It's like, there's, people are teaching their kids to appreciate everything. And
well, I bet you that first family, those kids probably have 2 stepdads. Well, and the second family has a dad who is present.
Yeah, exactly.
And a mom who's present.
I always think about that. And I really hope our kids are the second and stay.
This is like a parable.
I know.
Here's a Christmas parable.
Like,
there was once 2 families. One. Yeah. The fig leaf. Yeah. Consider the fig leaf.
It is like this family. Yeah.
That's cool.
I just feel that just stuck out a lot in my brain, and especially with both of our upbringings too. I don't want our kids to be like, oh, this is it, or if somebody else gets them a present, do that. It's like, and I think another thing we try to do with them is every night we go to bed, we have them say 2 things, right? One or 2 things they're thankful for.
Now, well, it started as 2. Now it's just 1 thing.
Is it 1 thing now?
Just because it took too long.
It takes too long because they take forever to think of something. But we just ask them, like, hey, like, what are you thankful for today? Today, like, at this moment. And sometimes it's like, I'm thankful for the show we just got to watch downstairs because it's the last thing they can think of. But we always have them say 1 thing, and I hope that's meaningful for them and that they continue. And then I'll say something I'm thankful for, and I think it helps them because I'll say things like, really thankful we have a warm bed to sleep in, or like healthy food to eat, clean water to drink. And then I've noticed over time they started saying that. Yeah. I'm really thankful that everybody in our family is healthy. Yeah. And or like really good food to eat.
You're like, that one sucks. How about a good one, huh? Yeah.
And so I've loved that they've kind of started noticing the things that we say. Yeah.
I'm praying for world peace.
Listen, I just want everybody to be happy in the world.
I'm thankful for the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's, I mean,
kind
my goal is to make sure they're
kids.
Good people. Yeah, they're just good people, and I mean, I think we're nipping it in the bud pretty well with them, and they know that all the things that they love can be taken away from them. And to them, they
get stuff taken away all the time.
And it's a short list, right? So their screens, they get taken away.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they get it taken away, very regularly because they're still kids and they don't listen.
Yeah, and mom buys them 20 drones at a time.
First of all, I think I've only bought Beckham 1, and all the other ones were my parents.
Oh, really?
That's another thing is parents don't know when to quit.
Yeah.
With Christmas presents.
Grandparents, yeah. Yeah, it's your mom bought Beckham the I don't know, just randomly one of those electric.
Well, the problem,
bicycles.
yeah, it was when Harper was born.
Or electric little motorcycles, and I was like, cool.
My mom's like, a baby, and then she went crazy, and they went to Target and bought like a million things.
And I was like, oh, where do we put this? I don't know where we can put this. There's no room to put this in the garage or anywhere. Like, what
Nowhere.
do you?
Yeah.
Keep it at your house. Let them play when they come over.
Yeah. No, he wanted to bring it home.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun. It'll be. I think it's gonna be a great Christmas. I think that it'll be one to remember with the baby being here, and or maybe we won't remember. Maybe we'll get drunk. I don't know. I'm kidding.
Here's to remembering or not remembering.
Yeah, remember. No, it'll be. I think it'll be one of the best ones. I think
so. They're such a fun age.
They're fun age. I would love to freeze them in time right now because they.
I know.
There's you can communicate with them. There's understanding.
You can reason. Yeah.
You can reason. You could do traditions with them. It's a lot of fun on that perspective.
That is probably the most. What I look forward to every year the most is the traditions, because we didn't have a ton growing up. Mm-hmm. You didn't.
No,
for sure.
No, you know what tradition was? Come home and try not to get beat.
Yeah, it was like our only really tradition was we would open presents Christmas Eve. That was like our tradition.
We
always had church.
We kind of inherited
Day.
That with your parents, didn't we?
Yeah, we kind of still do with my parents. And then, which I've liked, because I liked the idea of just doing Christmas morning with just our family. Yep. The 5 of us. So that was, I feel like our only really tradition. We never had anything that like stuck around every year. Yeah. And so I really want to create those memories with our kids, and they already look forward to, like, we're gonna do the pickle thing this year for the first time. Thing? You hide a pickle in the Christmas tree, and the first person to find it gets to open the first present.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
Are you gonna put it at the very top of the Christmas tree?
I know. So you can get it. Haha, Dad gets to open the present first. Suckers. Yeah.
Idiots. Move. Well, it'll be fun. We'll see in 2 weeks what happens if we see anybody crying or anything like that. It'll be interesting once you see, and if you guys follow us,
we'll come back around and tell you guys how it all went.
Yeah, what we remember.
Yeah, or what we remember. Yeah.
All right.
Mimosas. Christmas mimosas.
You and your mimosas, I swear.
I love them.
Well, they got plenty of vitamin D in there, so that's good.
That's the most important part.
Or vitamin C, whatever it is. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Had a lot of fun on this one. Make sure you share this podcast with your friends.
I'm not yawning.
Tell your family members. I gotta go pick up my kids from school.
Oh yes.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya. Bye.